Greetings, Star Citizens, and welcome to another beautiful day in the verse. Now, first of all, I want to apologize. I've not been making videos lately. I've been sort of trying my luck at streaming, and I've got new internet that doesn't really allow me to stream. But for today's video, I figured since I've got my hands on PTU 2.6, we've already blacked out, fantastic. I figured I would give a sort of top tiers opinion on the flight model. So I've been speaking to a few of the top racers around this model, and sort of none of them, including myself, are happy with it. Now, before you all start saying it's because we're not used to it and it's because we have to adjust, now yes, I will agree, part of it is down to adjustment. Part of it is we have to readjust, we have to refigure everything out, we have to essentially relearn how to fly. And yes, that is part of it, but that isn't the reason I hate this model. The reason I hate this model the most is because it is like flying with two speed settings. It is like flying an RC plane that only has an on or an off switch. There is no middle ground unless you change your throttle, but changing your throttle will most likely cause you to black out. So right now you can see I'm not flying with boost. It is extremely slow. So this is the non-afterburner speed, and for a ship that's meant to be fast like the M50, this is quite depressingly slow. And the alternative to that is if I use afterburner and I go really fucking fast to the point where it is impossible to get around a corner without blacking out. I mean, there I did it, but that's because I slowed down. There's a lot of having to tap the afterburner, and that's what I really don't like about this flight model. It isn't because I have to learn it, because I have got a 35-second lap time with the Mustang Gamma, which compared to other top races, that is, as of making this video, that is the fastest that I've heard of. Obviously we don't have any leaderboards for the PTU because it's PTU, but from what I've heard of, that is the fastest. I know Showtime got a 36 seconds, and I think Shive got a 37 seconds. That's the last I heard of. Like I say, I have managed to get a good lap. I'm nowhere near consistent with it. It was sort of once in a blue moon kind of thing. It was just a bit of luck more than anything. But yeah, I could get used to this flight model. I could adjust to it, and I could end up loving it, and I wouldn't really have as many issues with it. But I still find it boring even when I get good at it, because like I said, I have got somewhat good at it. This video isn't doing it justice because I've slept. So what I learned yesterday, I did about 8 hours of this yesterday, and yeah, what I've learned there is kind of irrelevant now. It's kind of all gone out the window, and I need to sort of warm up again. But yeah, I can get fairly consistent. I can get a consistent 40-second lap time. I can't get a consistent 35 seconds, like I said, that was just luck more than anything. But I can get a consistent 40-second lap time, or a definite 50-second lap time. For some reason I can't afterburner now, so yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm just going to suicide after this. Checkpoint. Oh, good to know that's now instant. We don't have to wait the 10 seconds self-destruct. That's nice. That saves a lot of stress for racing, but yeah, I'm not really interested because, like I said, I'm no longer racing. And the thing that would make me like this model, and it's something I know CIG are not going to do, or I highly doubt they will do. They may surprise us one day and do it, but the thing that would make me love this flight model is if they got rid of blacking out. Because the thing that makes this flight model so crap is because you black out so much, you can't take the corners at the full performance that your ship is allowing you to. You're having to greatly limit your ship's performance just because your pilot cannot keep up with it. It's like taking a Ferrari to a racetrack and then racing around at 60 miles per hour and not sliding at all or not anything. I mean, you see there, I hardly even turned in that corner, but I blacked out. And I could black out on checkpoint 1, I can black out on checkpoint 2, I can black out on checkpoint 3, I can black out on checkpoint 4, and I can black out on 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. No, 9 probably not, but because that's just a straight to the finish. But the point is, you can now black out on every single checkpoint, whereas in 2.5, blacking out was only really an issue on checkpoint 5, 6, and 7. So yeah, I mean, sometimes you might black out on checkpoint 2, but it was very uncommon. Normally this is where the blackouts would happen because it's a long sweeping corner. So, and there we go, right on cue we blacked out. Because it's a long sweeping corner, you would black out because your pilot was sustaining a constant high G. Now that isn't really relevant anymore. You kind of have to just sort of be very touchy with the controls now, because it has nothing to do with constant G. The problem now is you turn so quickly you snap your neck, because CIG decided to reduce drift, and increasing speeds and reducing drift is very, very bad news for blacking out, because obviously the drift is what saved us from blacking out in 2.5. That little bit of drift is what helped us, and I honestly don't see the point in this change, and that's what makes me most disappointed in this change. Is I do not see the point in it. It's kind of irrelevant. I mean, I've not gone into dogfighting. I've only done racing, and I've done a little bit of Star Marine, so I can't really say for dogfighting. I mean, I would imagine this makes dogfighting a bit more enjoyable. It makes dogfighting a bit more fun, but it just damages racing so much. It makes racing so damn boring. So for this next bit of the video, I'm going to go completely off the racing because, to be honest, it frustrates me. I'm going to go off the M50. So for those that are wondering, you're probably assuming that I got my 35-second lap time in the M50 because I'm an M50 kid. And you would be wrong. You would be very, very wrong. I actually got that 35-second lap time in the Mustang Gamma. Now, for anyone that does want to continue racing in 2.6, I know there will be a bunch of people that will. And for new racers, 2.6 isn't going to be as big of an issue. So for anyone that wants to get into 2.6 racing, I can definitely confirm, after 8 hours of testing this last night, that the Mustang Gamma is now a competitive ship. I blacked out there, but forget about that. It is a competitive ship. Now, I cannot say for certain if it's better than the M50 because I'm not consistent with either of the ships, but I can say that the best lap time I got with this M50 in 2.6 is 35 seconds, and the best lap time I've got with the M50 is 42 seconds. Now, I'm not saying the M50 cannot keep up. The M50 can definitely get a 35-second lap time. Yep, the M50 can definitely beat the Mustang. However, the Mustang is a lot more forgiving. It seems to accelerate a bit quicker, in my opinion, and it seems to straighten up a lot quicker. I mean, you could probably tell just from the comparison. The first part of this video I was racing the M50, and now I'm racing the Mustang, and you can kind of just see we crashed into the start line, but it's fine. It's fine. But you can kind of see it just seems to have a bit more push to it. It just accelerates faster. It doesn't have a higher top speed, but it does definitely accelerate a lot quicker. It gets to that speed a lot quicker. It can do much sharper turns from what I've experienced, and for some reason it doesn't black out like the M50 does, and I'm not sure why, but it doesn't black out as much. It definitely can black out. If if you're stupid with it, it will black out. You have to be very careful with the boost. And that's how the way you fly in 2.6. You do not use space brake anymore. Space brake is pointless. The way you fly now is you afterburn in the straights and you boost in the corners. And also you have to manually turn off your G-Safe because G-Safe will screw you over. It is just as simple as that. G-Safe, previously it would automatically turn off when you boosted or afterburned, but now it doesn't. But that's enough for racing. That's probably the last time you'll see me race. I might still do bits of it. I'll probably rent a racing ship, and I'll see how it goes when it hits full release, because obviously it is still PTU. But I've made my mind up. I'm going to go into Star Marine, and dogfighting. But for this last part of the video, I'm going to go off racing onto a completely different topic, because some of you might be wondering, what ships do I have now? If I've sold all of my racing ships and I'm done with racing, previously I had, you know, just racing ships. So what ships do I have now? Well, obviously because I'm in PTU, I've got every single ship. I don't actually own all of these ships. So the ship I have now is, if we can find it in this big mess, I just saw it, there it is. I have myself an Aegis Sabre Comet, which is the sort of special edition. Well, it's not really a special edition, it's a different variant for the Sabre, and I've only just realized you can actually change the ammo on these weapons now, so that probably fixes the ammo bug that people were having. I never experienced that bug, but I can imagine that will fix that. Ignore the glowy bubble on the cockpit. That is just a bug. We are in PTU, and I do have to keep repeating that because there will be someone that will say, oh my god, it's so buggy, it's such a horrible game. But we're in PTU, so it's essentially an alpha of an alpha. It's pre-alpha, and bugs are bound to happen. So that should hopefully be definitely cleaned up by the time you guys get 2.6. If you're not part of the PTU. I mean, obviously quite a lot of people are part of the PTU. They did give it out to more people than usual. But yeah, I went with the Sabre Comet. I used to have a Sabre before, obviously not the Comet version, but I did used to have a Sabre before. I loved the Sabre. It was my favourite ship to fight with because I like to monoboat my ships. I like to have all my weapons the same, and there are very few ships that can do it and be effective. The Sabre is one of them because it can have 4 fixed size 4s. And the second ship I went with is, see if I can find it, the Avenger Titan. So I picked up the Avenger Titan, so I've gone full Aegis again. I've gone back into Aegis. I don't actually have this version of the Titan, the special version, because I personally don't like the colour scheme. I know some people do. I personally don't. I'm not a fan of it. I've got the normal Titan, which you can't actually spawn in PTU. You've only got the Renegade, so I'll spawn the Warlock one. I don't have the Warlock, but it looks the same as the Warlock. So, I mean, obviously everyone's probably seen the Avenger anyway, because it is such a common ship. But I figured since I've got the Sabre, I should have a ship that's a working ship. So this is probably the ship that I will start out with. I'll probably do all my early jobs with this because obviously it's got a bit of cargo, it's got a bit of guns, it can do a bit of everything. It's a very well-rounded ship. The Sabre can only really kill stuff, so it's limited in what jobs it can do. But yeah, that's it for this rant. I'm done ranting. I will stop ranting now. And like I said, I know the racing is in 2.6. I shouldn't make a judgment, but I can tell you I did 8 hours of racing last night, and I did not make this decision on a whim. I did not just sort of rage quit and think, I'm done. I made a very informed decision, and even if I got very consistently good, I would not enjoy this way of racing. It is just way too unforgiving, way too damaging, and for me, way too stressful because you will black out an awful lot. And if you guys watch my streams, you'll know blackouts really annoy me more than anything else, more than the bugs, more than anything. Blacking out when I shouldn't black out really pisses me off. So yeah, I'm done with racing. I will still definitely have Star Marine videos. I will still do dogfighting videos. I'm not done with Star Citizen, just the racing aspect. But that is all for this video, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Laters, taters.